You already negotiated your commission. It's already in writing. The buyer is asking the seller to pay that on their behalf. You are not. Are real estate agents really making more money with all of the new rules that have been put in place here? Welcome to today's morning meeting. I'm Greg Luther, the one guy that meets with you every single week to help you in growing your real estate business. Today's topic is simply that real estate agents are making more money with all of the changes that are happening right now. The rules have changed the game. I think anytime there's change, people are going to be nervous. They're going to be a little timid. They're not as confident in the way that they're presenting themselves, and telling a buyer you need to sign a contract, if you've been in one of those states that didn't have contracts before, you almost think it could never happen. Why would they sign that? Why wouldn't they just go around me? Why would they see benefit in that? I think it's actually stepped our game up, and I can tell you a lot of our members with Greg Luther Inner Circle Coaching, they're generating more clients, more contracts, more revenue than they ever have before. This is actually going to be a good thing for real estate agents and for the real estate industry as a whole. It's surprising how many agents have always had a listing presentation. Probably didn't like their listing presentation. It's something their company provided or something they bought for $99 or something, but they've used it over the years, and it gave them an outline. It gave them something to follow while trying to build value, trying to build a value stack when meeting with sellers. Here's why you should list with me. Here's all the things we do that are unique. Here's how we're going to help you navigate the home sale process. We've always had listing presentations, and if I were to ask you to honestly rate your listing presentation, you'd probably say it was a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10, right? That's for the masses. That may not be you individually, but for an awful lot of agents, they would say they're a 6 or 7 out of 10. They think it could be better. They haven't updated it in years. They've left it the same. And then when I say, okay, now you need to give presentations to buyers, and you're going to have to make sure they sign an agreement with you, and they have to agree to pay you, just as the sellers always have. They're going to be contracting an agent, and you're going to need to give them a presentation. Let's see what your presentation looks like so we can see if it needs freshened up. And they'd say, what presentation? I just talked to them. What? You weren't building value in why they should work with you or work with you exclusively? Well, let me guess. You have always thought that buyers are not loyal. They'll go somewhere else. They'll cut you out of the deal. They'll go directly to the listing agent. They're always trying to beat you up on commission. They'd rather go with their brother who's a realtor. You've got a lot of problems here. Listen, if you did the same thing with sellers, they would do the same thing to you. If you didn't require an exclusive listing agreement for decades, they would have been doing the exact same thing to you. So now what we found is it's really stepped our game up as an industry. We're doing a better job of presenting value, showing them why buyer agency is so important. Because, oh my gosh, now you're really paying for it. Let me show you what you're paying for. Let me show you the benefits of what we're doing. And what we found is clients are tied to you in a better way. They see more value in what you're doing. They're not staying because of the contract. They're staying because they know what you do now. Keep in mind, you're not locking them down and them say, oh, I guess I have to stay with him. I signed an agreement with him a week ago. That's not why they're staying. They're staying because you're actually demonstrating the ways in which you can help them. For those of you that are using that ultimate buyer presentation, we've gotten all of that. We did 600 of those over the last couple of weeks here. And we're finding that those buyers are tied to you exclusively. They want to work with you exclusively. They're contacting you saying, hey, I saw the presentation. This is definitely what I need. It's the number one frustration I've had in finding a house. I see you can help me. I want to work with you. So I want you to ask yourself today, what does your buyer presentation look like? How solid is it? And have you found that now that the changes have started to happen here, buyers are actually more loyal to you, not because they have to be, because frankly, they can sign a buyer agency agreement that's not exclusive. They're not staying because they have to be. They're tied to you. They're staying because they see value in what you're doing, because for once, you're finally presenting that. Now, the advantage is the buyer's agents that don't present that value, nobody's working with them. They might sign the form, the one showing, the touring agreement, the expires at midnight, all the agents that are scared to death to actually negotiate. Like imagine you're meeting with sellers and you're like, oh, you're just listing with me until midnight. There's no obligation. Don't worry. You're not tied to me. We'll just do a day-to-day agreement. Stop being a coward. How about step up what it is that you do? You're literally looking for a way for them to not be committed to you? What kind of relationship is that? And how hard would you really want to work for them if you know that they could just leave at any time? They could go somewhere else because it expires at midnight, because it expires on Sunday? You have to step your game up as an agent. Nobody believes in you more than I do. I want you to make a liar out of me on that. Nobody believes in you more than I do. Make me a liar. Believe in yourself more than I do. Believe that what you offer, the service you provide, you can actually step your game up to where they'd say, heck no, I wouldn't go with anybody else. You know why? They don't offer that. Now, you're not allowed to say things like, I care about your business, customer service is important, I'm a good negotiator, I know the area like the back of my hand, I grew up here, I'm a native. All the crap that every single agent says. I'll ask you, as I've asked everybody else, why should they use you? So what we found is, fast forwarding to today, and as we're recording this, it's August 27th, we're finding that in this first 10 days, it's actually been very good. It's been better quality clients. It's becoming a more solidified relationship. We're creating a better relationship with these buyers. We're having more communication with them. They're working with us exclusively. If they find a new build or they find a FSBO or whatever, they're actually calling us directly. They see us as their agent now, not the loser door unlocker that they could just use any one of them that's available. Oh, you're not around? Let me call until I can find an agent within 1 mile of here. Like, we're not an Uber driver. You don't just take whoever's the closest Uber driver. Oh, there's one 2 minutes from you. He'll be here in 2 minutes, except. No, that's not what we're doing here. We want an agent that's good, that provides value, that you can really create that relationship. What real estate was created on years and years ago, the relationship we need to have with them, they would actually feel honored to stay with you, to make sure you do get paid, to make sure you do get the compensation that you need. But you have to demonstrate value. And what we found is, at least in this first 10-day period, clients are happier than they've ever been, and they're more loyal than they've ever been. They're not saying, no, I don't want to sign that. That's what you were afraid of. They're not afraid of that. So I want you to really think through what it is that you're doing here. And from a financial standpoint, how cool is it that nobody else is negotiating your fee anymore? You don't have another agent that doesn't give a damn about you negotiating how much you're going to get paid. You get to negotiate what you're worth. We have agents all over the place. I've got one of our menu of services that we're using here from a couple of agents that are getting 4% agreements with buyers when they give them the option of 2, 2.5, 3, or 4. The buyer takes 4. Now, you don't believe that because you didn't believe buyers would sign. You only believe what you know you have seen in the past. We have agents that are getting 4% agreements. Now, they give them the option of cheaper, and the buyer's like, no, I don't want the cheap. I want all of these benefits. They have all options, and they choose the premium. You better get coached up on the right way to do it. You better get coached up on how you're going to build value. Give them the option of cheaper, and they're like, no, thanks. I want good. Instead of good, better, best, just give me the best. At least better. But I don't want good. That's no good for me. Because you can build value the right way. So this is what's happening. Look, this is where the market's going. Doesn't matter what your opinion is. This is what's happening in today's market. There will be a boatload of agents that can't get their mind right, that are stuck in their old ways, and they're going to be the ones that leave the business frustrated, confused, thinking the government screwed them, thinking the feds, the attorneys, the whatever. Everybody's out for everybody now. Everybody's suing everybody. This is the nightmare that they hoped would happen. Now, agents are suing NAR. Let me tell you a secret, agents. Don't sue broke people. You know what's going to happen if they have another judgment? Your freaking fees go up. They're going to send the bill to you. Are you stupid? What are you talking about? Why would you? The first thing an attorney's going to do, oh, I want to sue this person. He screwed me over. Does that person have any money? No, they borrow a car from their mother to go sue. Then why would we sue them? They have no money. The last thing I want to do is go after companies that have been sued over and over and over and have literally millions and millions and millions of judgments, dollars worth of judgments that they need to take care of. Why? Because you want to be a victim now? How about if you just go out and win? How about if we don't do this victim mentality? Because ever since last Saturday, you've had the opportunity to build the biggest value you've ever been able to show. You're able to negotiate whatever you want, whatever you feel you are worth, and you can show that buyer this is why they should work with you, or if you choose, work with you exclusively. Now, one of the advantages here, because I always hear, you see the comments on Facebook and everything else. Well, in my area, buyers don't have, your area is not freaking different, first of all. Nobody's got any money. We are in the biggest national deficit in the history of America. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. This is nationwide. This is not your area. Shut up about your area. You got rich people in your area and you got poor people in your area. And the vast majority of buyers don't have or don't want to spend the money to pay a buyer brokerage fee. What would make you think they're paying a buyer brokerage fee? The best agents are still having the buyer ask the seller to pay for that compensation. Now listen to me. You are not the agent asking for a commission in your contract. Let me give you that again. Listen up. You, the agent, are not asking the seller to pay you in the purchase contract. You already negotiated your commission. It's already in writing. The buyer is asking the seller to pay that on their behalf. You are not. It is not you asking. It needs to be on a separate addendum because no, it doesn't. You've already got an agreement. And by the way, you can't ask someone that's already in an exclusive agency agreement to pay you. The buyer can. The buyer can ask for a new Mercedes if they want to. The buyer can ask that you pay off my Citigroup credit card so that I qualify. Now, your lender's probably not going to approve that, but the buyer can specifically put in there, seller to pay buyer brokerage ABC Realty 3% of total sales price upon successful closing.